Hello students, welcome back to the economics class of plus 2 standard. Today we will start with new chapter 16, government budget. In this chapter you will learn about meaning of budget, objectives of budget, types of budget. Under this you will learn about union budget and state budget, main budget and supplementary budget, revenue budget and capital budget, deficit surplus and balanced budget, plan budget and non-plan budget, performance budget and program budget, and zero based budgeting. Next one is components of budget. Under this you will learn about revenue budget and capital budget. Next topic is types of deficit in the budget. Under this we will discuss revenue deficit, fiscal deficit and primary deficit. Today we will discuss the topics meaning of budget, objectives of budget, types of budget. Under this you will learn about union budget and state budget, main budget and supplementary budget, revenue budget and capital budget, deficit surplus and balanced budget, plan budget and non-plan budget, performance budget and program budget, and zero based budgeting. Let us start with the meaning of budget. The term budget has been derived from the French word baguette, which implies a small leather bag or a wallet. The Chancellor of Exchequer in England used to carry financial proposals in a leather bag to the House of Commons every year. Budget is an annual financial statement that shows the income and expenditure of the government. It gives out details of total receipts and total expenditure for a year. According to the Constitution, Article 112, the Government of India is required to lay an annual financial statement before both the houses of parliament, that is Lok Sabha or lower house and Rajya Sabha or upper house, is known as the union budget or central budget. Each state government required to lay annual financial statement before the legislature, that is Vidhan Sabha of the state, as per Article 202 of the Constitution. This is called the budget of the state government. Under the Article 112 of the Constitution, a statement of estimated receipts and expenditure of the Government of India has to be laid before the Parliament in respect of every financial year running from April 1st till March 31. This statement shows the receipts and payments of the government under the three parts. First one is Consolidated Fund of India, next is Contingency Fund of India and Public Account. Let us discuss Consolidated Fund of India. All revenues received by the government by way of taxes like income tax, central excise, customs and other receipts flowing to the government in connection with the conduct of government business, that is non-tax revenues, are credited into the consolidated fund constituted under Consolidated Article 266 of the Constitution of India. Similarly, all loans raised by the government by issue of public notifications, treasury bills, that is internal debt, and loans obtained from foreign governments and international institutions, that is external debt, are credited into this fund. Under the Contingency Fund of India, it is placed at the disposal of the President to enable the government to meet urgent unforeseen expenditure pending authorization from Parliament. The amount of this fund is determined by Parliament by law. Public account. The normal receipts and expenditure of the government which relates to the consolidated fund. Certain other transactions enter government accounts like money received from transactions relating to the provident funds, small saving collections, other deposits is kept in the public account. As the money does not belongs to the government and has to be paid back sometimes or to the other persons and authorities who deposited it. Parliamentary approval for payment from the public account is not required. Operations of the fiscal policies are carried out through the instrument of budget. Budget can be of three types: deficit budget, surplus budget, balanced budget. In a developing economy, a government plans for the deficit budget. That is, it seeks to incur more expenditure than the amount of resources that it can mobilize. There are different measures of deficit. For example, revenue deficit, budgetary deficit, fiscal deficit and primary deficit. The government plans to undertake various economic and other activities and want to pursue the policies like tax policy from which the government can make the necessary expenditures. Let us discuss the deficit budget. Suppose the expenditure incurred by the government on the projects of 6 lanes is rupees 6,600 crore and income, that is trade on these lanes and the tax collection from these projects to the government is worth rupees 500 crore. As income to the government from this project, it is worth rupees 500 crore and expenditure incurred on this project, it is worth rupees 600 crore. So, income it is lesser than expenditure, that's why deficit budget. So, the deficit budget means when the government expenditure exceeds the government revenue, means sources of revenue of the government is less than the expenditure of the government. In the first 5-year plan, expenditure was rupees 1960 crore and deficit was rupees 333 crore. Surplus budget. Suppose the expenditure incurred by the government on the projects of 6 lanes is rupees 600 crore and income in the form of trade on these lanes and tax collection like toll tax from these projects to the government is worth rupees 700 crore. Now you can see income from this project, it is more than the expenditure, so surplus budget. There is a surplus of worth rupees 100 crore. So the surplus budget means when the government receipts are more than the government expenditure. Vote on account budget. Vote on account budget means the budget has to be split up during a particular year. The reason may be political in nature. The existing government may or may not continue for the full year on account of the fact that elections are due. Then a lame duck budget is placed. This is called vote on account budget under Article 116 of the Indian Constitution. This budget covers only a part of the year. Such a budget enables the next executive government to formulate its own budget for the rest of the year. This situation arises due to the economic reasons. Balanced budget. Suppose the expenditure incurred by the government on the projects of 6 lanes is rupees 600 crore and the income from this project also remains the same. As income it is equals to the expenditure, so balanced budget. So balanced budget means when the government receipts are equal to the government expenditure. In the 9th 5-year plan, the expenditure was rupees 8,44,032 crore and zero deficit was there. Hence balanced budget. In the 10th 5-year plan, the planned expenditure was 15,25,639 crore and zero deficit. Hence balanced budget. Budget gives out details of total receipts and expenditure for the year. In India, the budget of the Union government is known as Union Budget. It is presented on the last working day of the month of February. Along with the budget for the next year, the set of figures relating to the government receipts and expenditure pertaining to the preceding 2 years are also presented. Thus, the budget for 2020 till 21 to be presented on 28th Feb 2020 will contain data relating to the following years like actual accounts for the year 2018 till 19 and revised estimates for the year 2019 till 20 and the budget estimates for the year 2020 till 21. Like the Union Budget of 2020-21, Budget 2020-20 is woven around 3 prominent things. First one was aspirational India to boost the standard of living, economic development for all and building a human and compassionate society. This was the theme of the Union Budget of 2020-21. Objectives of budget. In a mixed economy, apart from the private sector, there is a government which plays a very important role. It tries to influence economic life through its budgetary measures. The objectives that are pursued by the government through its revenue and expenditure measures are as follows. First one is allocation of resources, redistribution of income and wealth through taxation, economic stability with the price control and promotion of economic development through borrowings. Allocation of resources. Sometimes market forces like demand and supply fails to allocate the resources efficiently. The government has to reallocate them in line with social and economic considerations. Government has to do it through budget. Government has to allocate resources into areas where private sector is not coming. For example, public goods like roads, parks, rural electrification, education, health cannot be provided through the market mechanism, that is, by transaction between individual consumers and producers. These must be provided by the government. Production of harmful consumption goods can be discouraged through heavy taxation, like fizzy drinks are there, junk food it is there, and the production of socially useful goods can be encouraged through subsidies. This is called the allocation of functions. Like government has given the subsidies on the wheat, rice and pulses on the ration shops. Redistribution of income and wealth. Government through the tax and expenditure policy can make the redistribution of income that is considered fair by the society. The government affects the personal disposable income. As you know that personal disposable income, it is the gross income minus all types of taxes. Whatever it is left, that is the disposable income of a household. By making transfer payments like scholarships, old age pension, gifts and grants, and collecting taxes. Both types of taxes, that is direct and indirect taxes. Direct taxes like income tax, wealth tax, corporation tax, and next one is indirect taxes like GST, and therefore can change the income distribution. This is the redistribution function. Equitable distribution of income and wealth is an indicator of social justice and welfare. The redistribution objective is sought to be achieved through progressive income taxation, in which higher the income, higher is the tax rate. People with low income are provided subsidies and facilities. Subsidies like subsidized cylinders are there, subsidized petroleum it is there, and public distribution system it is there. So with respect to excise taxes means taxes imposed on the production of industrial production. Necessities of life are exempted or taxed at low rates. Comforts and semi-luxury are moderately taxed, and luxury goods like SUV cars are there, ACs are there, tobacco it is there, and petroleum products are taxed heavily. More emphasis is laid on equitable distribution of wealth and income. Economic stability. The government budget is used to prevent economic fluctuations. Here the word economic fluctuations means the situation of inflation and deflation. As you know that inflation means when there is a higher prices for the commodities due to excess supply of money in the economy and lesser output of the goods and services. The government of a country is always committed to save the economy from inflation as well as deflation. As you know that deflation, when aggregate demand it is lesser in the economy due to lesser circulation of money in the economy. So budgetary policy measures are needed to raise the level of aggregate demand in times of deflation by giving tax concessions and subsidies or tax holiday, and to reduce demand in times of inflation by reducing government expenditure like subsidy cut is there and imposition of higher tax rates are there on the income. So price stability promotes growth and development. Promotion of economic development. The most of the countries, particularly underdeveloped countries, have chosen the path of planned economic development. They have taken up the task of economic development through plans, that is 5-year plans in India. To achieve the planned targets, resources have to be found, that is financial resources. The annual government budget provides necessary funds for this purpose. They draw up schemes of revenue mobilization on one hand and programs of public expenditure on other. Distinction between budgetary policy and fiscal policy. As both the policies, that is budgetary and fiscal policies, are similar to each other in the sense that both use taxation and public expenditure and borrowings as their instruments to achieve national economic objectives such as growth with stability, reduction in economic inequalities, etc. So, despite this fact, budgetary policy is different from fiscal policy in the following ways. First point is, budgetary policy is a short run phenomena, while fiscal policy is a long run phenomena. Second point is about the fiscal policy. Fiscal policy lays down the principles, while budgetary policy implements them in practice. In the fiscal policy, there are norms that on which commodities tax should be implemented and which things can be exempted from the taxes. But the budgetary policy, it imposes the taxes on the commodities and directly see the effect of these commodities after taxation in the elasticity of demand. Fiscal policy determines the structure and lays down the national socio-economic objectives, while budgetary policy covers the distance step by step. Every year, budgetary policy is prepared to achieve the national goals already set out in the fiscal policy. Next one is types of budget. Union budget and state budget, main budget and supplementary budget, revenue budget and capital budget, deficit, surplus and balanced budget, plan budget and non-plan budget, performance budget and program budget, and zero-based budgeting. Let us discuss all these types of budgets one by one. Union budget. Union budget is the budget prepared by the central government, which describes in detail the estimated receipts and proposed expenditures and disbursement by central government. The budget of India is presented in two parts. First one is railway budget and second one is main budget. Railway budget. Railway budget shows the details of the estimated receipts and anticipated expenditures with regard to Indian Railways only. The main budget shows the financial plan for the entire economy. However, the totals of the receipts and expenditures are included in the union budget. State budget. Every state has its own expenditure and receipts, and accordingly they prepare the budget. So, state budget is the budget prepared by the state governments, such as the budget of the Delhi government, budget of Haryana government, budget of Telangana government, budget of UP government. So, the state governments receive grants in aid from the central government, which are mentioned in their respective budgets and also in the union budget. Supplementary budget. Sometimes an emergency situations are there, like COVID-19 war, natural calamities, like earthquakes are there, floods, famines are there, drought conditions are there. So demands extra public expenditure in addition to the budget provisions. Situation may also arise when the revenue receipts may fall short of the expected ones. So under these circumstances, a supplementary budget is presented by the government to accommodate these unforeseen events. Revenue budget. The revenue budget shows the current receipts of the government and the expenditure that can be met from these receipts. Revenue receipts refer to those receipts of the government which neither create a liability nor lead to reduction in any asset. For example, revenue from taxes is a revenue receipt to the government as it does not involve any liability for the government for repayment. Revenue receipts are divided into tax and non-tax revenues. Tax revenues consist of proceeds of taxes and other duties levied by the government. Revenue budget. Tax revenue is an important component of revenue receipts. Comprise direct taxes like income tax, corporate tax, wealth tax, etc., which fall directly on an individual, and indirect taxes like excise duty, that is duties levied on the goods produced within the country, custom duties, that is tax imposed on the import and export of goods and services, and the service tax, entertainment tax, and many other taxes are there. Now for all the indirect taxes there is a one tax in India, that is GST. Non-tax revenue of the government includes receipts from sources like receipts in the form of commercial revenues, for example, revenue in the form of prices paid for government supplied commodities like products, sales of physical or digital products such as bicycle or e-book, consumer services like meal at the restaurant, and business services, and interest and dividend on government investment, administrative revenues in the form of school fees, college fees, license fees, registration fees, fines, penalties, escheats, and forfeitures. Budget. Revenue budget. Next one is expenditure in the revenue budget called revenue expenditure. Include those expenditures which are incurred for the normal functioning of the government departments and provision of various services and interest payments on debt incurred by the government. In it, grant given to the state governments and other parties are also included, although some of the grants may be meant for the creation of assets. Like while setting up of an industry, government gives the grants to the industries and to the schools also, colleges also, and big institutions also. Capital budget. Capital budget consists of capital receipts and capital expenditure. It shows the capital requirement of the government and pattern of their financing. Capital receipts are defined as any receipt of the government which either creates a liability or leads to reduction in assets. For example, when government raises funds either by incurring a liability or by disposing of its assets. Capital budget. Under the capital budget, capital receipts include three items. First one is recovery of loans. Second is other receipts, that is disinvestment, means when government selling off its assets to the private persons. Next one is borrowings and other liabilities like funds raised from public provident fund, small saving deposits in post offices, etc. So expenditure in the capital budget include expenditure which either lead to creation of assets such as expenditure on the purchase of land, buildings, machinery, investment in shares and loans or reduces liability. For example, repayment of loan. Deficit budget. Suppose the expenditure incurred by the government on the setup of a chemical industry, it is worth rupees 1000 crore, and the income from this industry to the government, it is worth rupees 800 crore. So there is a difference between income and expenditure worth rupees 200 crore. So income, it is lesser than the expenditure. So that's why deficit budget. So deficit budget means when the government expenditure exceeds the government revenue. Means sources of revenue of the government is less than the expenditure of the government. In the first 5-year plan, expenditure was worth rupees 1960 crore and deficit was worth rupees 333 crore. Surplus budget. Suppose the expenditure incurred by the government on the setup of a chemical industry, it is worth rupees 1000 crore, and the income from this industry to the government, it is worth rupees 1200 crore. So income, it is more than the expenditure worth rupees 200 crore. So surplus budget. So the surplus budget means when the government receipts are more than the government expenditure. Balanced budget. Suppose the expenditure incurred by the government on the setup of a chemical industry, it is worth rupees 1000 crore, and income from this industry to the government, it is worth rupees 1000 crore. So income, it is equals to expenditure, balanced budget. Balanced budget means when the government receipts are equal to the government expenditure. In the 9th 5-year plan, the expenditure was worth rupees 8,44,032 crore and the zero deficit was there. Hence, balanced budget. In the same way, in the 10th 5-year plan, expenditure was 15,25,639 crore and zero deficit was there. Hence, balanced budget. So balanced budget means when expenses equals to income. Plan budget and non-plan budget. India is a mixed economy and have 5-year plan policy. The aim of this economic planning is to achieve rapid development in different sectors like agriculture, industry, power, transport, etc. and to raise per capita income, removal of poverty and removal of unemployment. So a part of the budgetary receipts and expenditures is devoted to the implementation of the plans. This is called plan budget. Remaining part of the budgetary resources and expenditure is referred to as non-plan budget. Non-plan budget is like unforeseen happenings like COVID-19, maintenance expenditure, droughts and famines, etc. Performance budget and program budget. Under the performance budgeting, the overall budget is divided into functions based on the major purposes of the government. Then it is subdivided into programs and activities, and funds are granted for doing each activity. While performance budget is a new approach as it indicates costs and benefits side by side. Program budget would frame a program structure to attain a particular objective and allocate funds to attain it. For example, if the objective is to remove poverty, expenditure is allocated to the set of programs under this objective. Like Manrega scheme, it is there, Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act program, it is started by the government to give the employment to the poor people in order to remove the poverty. Jawahar Rozgar Yojana was there, and Mahatma Gandhi National Rural Employment Guarantee Act also there, and 100 days Rozgar Yojana also there, Mahila Samriddhi Yojana also there. So all these programs are financed by the government. Now expenditure would constitute poverty alleviation programs. In fact, performance budget is backward looking, but the program budget is forward looking. It relates to ex ante plans and projections under the program budget. But the performance budget, we have to compare the performance of the budget with the base year. So that's why it is a backward looking budget. While the program budget, it is a forward looking budget because we have planned for the future. In 2020, agriculture, irrigation and rural development was there as 20 lakh farmers to be covered for stand-alone solar pumps under PM Kusum, and Kisan Rail, Kisan Udan for seamless national cold supply chain, doubling milk processing capacity by 2025, rupees 15 lakh crore agricultural credit target, and integration of ENWR with ENAM and SHGS run village storage scheme also there. Zero-based budget. Zero-based budget involves fresh evaluation of every item of expenditure in the government budget, assuming it as a new item. It is like assuming that a zero expenditure has been incurred on the project at the time of its review, though the project may have been in existence for a long time and may have already involved some expenditure. The Government of India has also evolved a system of commitment budgeting. It acted as a complement to the zero-based budgeting for assuring that ongoing projects are not starved of funds. From the year of 1987 till 88, a system of quarterly budgeting was also introduced by the government. The objective was to identify projects where funds were lying idle and divert them to other ongoing projects which suffer from shortage of funds. So this is a zero-based budgeting. Hope students you have understood the topic budget and its types. Now it's time to note down the homework. Define the following terms with examples: consolidated funds, contingency fund, budgetary policy, fiscal policy. And second question is explain the meaning of budget and its objectives. Third question is explain the different types of budget. And students, please go through the links on the YouTube and for more clarity and complete your notes on your fair copy for better learning. Thank you students for listening.